What's going on, guys? Jordan Nichols here. Just got back from a Pearl, Mississippi regional. I ended up being able to make top cut playing Magical Musketeers. The deck performed really well, honestly. My only loss was against a matchup that is really difficult for this deck, but as far as playing against the meta, this deck performed really well. So I just want to give you a little idea of my current build on this deck. So three of the starters, Caspar, Searcher, 3 is standard in every list. I really don't have to go into detail for these guys. 3 Starfire, special from deck and defense. Get your plays started. 3 Kid Brave, he's the trade-in of the Muskets. I play 3 of him because he is a starter when you really need to dig to see more cards to get your plays going. But yeah, that was the main reason I played him, and 2 of this because he is really not a great starter. He is really good when it comes to the late game, but as far as starting out, he's not that good. He recurs spells and traps from the graveyard. Him and Caspar, once they're on the field, you can really control the game, just recycling your cards back and forth. But he's really good. Just all I needed was 2. And I was also playing the double package. This is a blind second list. But yeah, Utopia Double just steals games. If you crack the spiral board, and you just want to end the game, you don't even want to see what their follow-up is. If they still have a resort in hand, you can just double the Phoenix or the double Helix and just end the game. So I wasn't going to play the double package because I am playing evenly, but I put it in at the last second, and it performed really well, so no complaints. So that's it for the Musket monsters. I decided to play a Kaiju package. I think Kaijus are really good right now. As far as, Spiral, you can Kaiju the Apollosa, turn off Trigate, or you can, Kaiju the Sleeper. And once you get those out of the way, then you're really setting yourself up for an OTK. These guys are also really big. The Muskets are small. Sometimes they have trouble getting over big monsters, so these guys can help you there. I was playing Slumber. That's the reason I was playing 4 of these. After you resolve Slumber, you still want to be able to search your deck for, an additional Kaiju. So these guys really put in work. No complaints against those either. For the spells, 3 Cross Dom. This one is the, negate the effect, make the attack and defense 0. If they have a monster that's over 2,000 attack, when you need to double them for game, this can make it 0, so you can OTK them. This one's just one of the really good ones. You want to play 3 of this. Nothing much more to say about this one. It's a standard 3 of. 3 Instant Fusion. So, this deck is really big on getting free activations. And that's really what Instant Fusion does for you. It's a free activation in the column, so you get to plus there. And also Thousand Eyes, some base out of negate. And also another target I'm playing for this is Mud Dragon. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but that card is actually really relevant when it comes to the Spiral matchup. But you could also play Millennium Eyes if you want to play around hand traps, stuff like that. But I was just playing Thousand Eyes and Mud Dragon. But free activation is always nice. 3 Pot of Desires. This card's just ridiculous in this deck. As long as you don't banish yourself out of the game, which, if you banish, Utopia, double or nothing, if you banish that, then it's not that big of a deal. As long as you don't banish, your life away, your entire engine. And then you obviously plus, and then you plus again off your musket. So this card's, if you see this card in your hand and you get to resolve it with a musket, then you pretty much win. This card performed surprisingly well. Kaiju Slumber. I really built this deck to beat Spiral because I was expecting a heavy Spiral meta at this regional, and I played several. I think about 3. But this card's really good. It clears. If they don't end on Cerberus, it clears, the Apollosa. If you can deal with the Trigate before you activate this, then it can clear everything and leave them on a sleeper. So that's really good. And surprisingly, this is good against, kind of rogue matchups because, clearing, random cards on the field and giving yourself a big beater can, really help out sometimes, and banishing and searching another Kaiju for later in the match. It was just really good. I enjoyed playing that card a lot. I would continue to play this because people haven't caught on yet, at least in my area, but the Luna deck is going to be, honestly, if not the best, the second best deck of the format. So this is a good way of dealing with the link. So you can clear their field. They have a Kaiju, so it turns off Gamma. Then you can just OTK them through the Kaiju if you double them. So yeah, this card is really good. Also turns off the counter trap if you blow up their Time Thief card, so they're kind of forced to negate this. So yeah, this card is going to be probably main deck going forward. Can't say people liked me very much for playing this card, but I was playing Mystic Mind. I know Spiral, they don't really main deck and out to this card. Yeah, they can search the trap, but I mean, if you even lead them, they're going to leave Sleeper, and then they don't have an out to this card. So yeah, Mystic Mind was pretty good. I didn't see it that much, but when I did see it, it would stall me long enough to where I could get enough resources and then win the game. Not a lot of decks can accrue resources like this deck can under this card because it's majority monsters, so they'll just have to ditch monsters on the end phase. But you can set 5 Musket, Spell, and Traps while this card's up, get a 6-card hand, and then you have enough gas to just honestly blow through anything they have to try and stop you. Yeah, this card was pretty good. A random thing that came up with this card, somebody cyberstunned me and summoned Warrior from Another Planet. And I honestly don't have it out in the deck for that card, so I just Mystic Mind them. Stalled until I drew Desperado and Cross Dom, which is the effect negator and the pop. I set a Caspar. I had to hope that they would attack into it. We were both playing 44 cards in deck, and I was the first to draw, so I would deck out first. But anyways, I set a Caspar. Mine cleared itself, and then they attacked into it. I damaged it. Cross Dom, then Desperado on the end phase to clear the Warrior from Another Planet. So that was really random, but it came up and I won that game. Double or nothing, brick. I didn't draw too much. I'm not playing Phantasme, so I can't shuffle it back, but it wasn't in my hand that much. Just the other one-ups, Upstart, obviously a great card in this deck, and Monster Reborn in case they clear your, they clear your Musket on the normal summon. And also just, late game, it's a really good card. And if they have anything in their grave that's relevant, any level 4s to make double, then Monster Reborn is really good. What else about this card? It was a lot better last format because you could target Dingarisu. But this format, I still think it's good. And also, after you instant fusion like Thousand Eyes or Mud Dragon, if you somehow get into Monster Reborn, you can bring those back. For the traps, I just played one. This card was extremely good last format. This format I still think is pretty good, but you're not really concentrating on controlling the graveyard. At least this meta right now. When Luna becomes a lot more popular, this card can become better. But right now, against Spiral, I mean, they've pretty much gone through everything by the time you start to play. So this card, it's honestly a lot better going first. But I like it in here. It's a free activation. That's one of the big things. Like most of the Musket cards are like you have to do something, negate a spell or trap or pop something. But this is just a free activation, and you can recycle it if you need to off Caspar and Doc. Only 2 of the counter trap. Like I said, I am choosing second. I'm expecting a lot of Spiral. This card's obviously dead against Spiral going second because more than often they're not going to have anything set. They're just going to have Resort and Spiral Resort and then Last Resort. So I only played 2 of these. My one loss was to back row. So I mean that happens. You can't really dwell on that. But this card's pretty good going first as well. But I only wanted to play 2 because I was expecting honestly a heavy go second format at this regional or Spiral. So I didn't think this card would be that mandatory at 3. 2 of these, this card performed really well. Also, one of the Musket's spells and traps is a free activation that you don't have to clear your own cards or whatever. This card was really good because I was playing Slumber. You can chain this to Slumber. You blow up their field, you keep your Muskets, and you still resolve Slumber. You get a Kaiju, so that's really good. Smart players will, if they know this deck, they know to play around the normal summon. So if you normal summon, they sleeper target your guy, you chain this, then if you have just a little more gas, then you can OTK them. So this card was really good. And if they have to clear it, then you get a free search. But this was mainly for sleeper and also post side lightning storm. You know, that card's not that bad against this deck, because if you clear the monster, then you can't play. So, you know, chaining this to a lightning storm is pretty good. But yeah, I really enjoy this card. Also, I'm playing Exciton Knight, so this card, you know, can protect your guys from that as well. So this card is really good. Desperado. I might have played 3 of this, hindsight, but I think this card was, you know, this card is really good. You can clear a card at any time and trigger your muskets. So yeah, just pops a face card on the field. So, you know, you can control the game with this card, recycle it. Yeah, I may have played 3, but I kind of chose Cross Dom over this at 3. So yeah, this card's, you know, staple. And the last card to round off the go in second deck is evenly matched. Yeah, this card's really good. The back row, I actually lost to Paleo, ironically. I'll get into that later, but you know, I tried to resolve this. He had Judgment game 1, so that just happens. But yeah, this card's really good. Clears the spiral board if you can deal with, you know, Tri-Gate. But a lot of decks aren't even ending on Tri-Gate, so yeah, this card is really good. If you know, you won't get your battle phase, but honestly, you can still just like control the game with your muskets after you resolve this card, because they lose so much off this. So that card's really good. I'll go to the extra deck. One Link Karibo, one eye instant fusion for 1,000 eyes. You know, this guy can protect your muskets from getting beat over, which is a good strategy against this deck. Beat over before you can use any of the cards from hand. 3 max. This card's ridiculous. Obviously, why the dad wants to go second. I don't need to explain this card. If this card resolves, you win, pretty much. It's really insane. I guess some things I could talk about is, I guess against the Spiral matchup, they'll have more, I mean, they can clear their field spell, add it back, but, you know, they'll have the equip, and, you know, maybe Big Red. You know, it just depends on how they create their board, but they can have up to 2 spells and traps, so all you really need is 1 to get to Utopia double. And obviously, if you resolve this against a back row deck, you just win if they, you know, don't stop it. And also against the Luna matchup, this card's really, really good. Because the way they'll build their board is they'll end on double scale, double tiger. And if you resolve this card, if you can deal with their board and resolve this card with double tiger up, then you guarantee yourself the game, because you're gonna get 2 specials. And if they still have a monster, then you can, you know, you can OTK. But resolving this for 2 is more than often enough to win the game. Anything past that is just bonus. Security Dragon, you know, you can make, you know, max, summon this, spin a card, Link Climb, just kind of generic, staple. Cerberus, Nightmares are obviously really good with max, because you can get draws off of them, and you can clear their field as you're linking up. So these are staple in this deck. I like Ningirisu because, like I said, you go into max, you go into a Nightmare, draw 1, you go into this guy, and, you know, he can obviously out anything. You know, any of those big problem cards, this guy can out it. So that's why I was playing him. Boral Sword, obviously, if you don't kill them, a lot of people don't play Boral Sword and Utopia Double, but I wanted to play it because I am playing 3-Pound Desires. I can easily banish, you know, my cards for max. I mean, for Utopia Double. So I decided to play this guy, and, you know, I summoned him a few times when I had to, but honestly, just a really good card. So I'm kind of big on this card for some reason. I like this guy a lot. He's easy to make. He's kind of generic. You know, all he requires is a 1 link monster. And you're playing Desperado, so honestly, you go to battle phase, you attack over something, you pop a card with this guy, you Desperado, you pop a card, this guy triggers, pop a card, and end phase, you pop a card. So honestly, you can clear a lot of cards with this, and anytime a card is destroyed, I'm pretty sure he triggers. So anytime that comes up, this guy's going to trigger, so that's really good. I played it as a way to clear up the field if I wasn't able to kill somebody. And rank 4 is Exciton. So I was playing this because I I guess if Spiral players want to be cheeky, they don't want to pop your normal summon. They wait long enough until you get into this guy. It's too late. You can nuke the board. Also, I was playing, the guy that protects muskets from being destroyed by card effects. So, you can go into this guy, clear the board, still have a musket. So that was pretty good. I think this card's making a comeback. Just a good way to clear giant boards if they can't answer this guy. I summoned him maybe once or twice when I wasn't killing people with, Utopia Double. Not much to say about this. This is why the deck wants to go second. These cards are insane. So Thousand Eyes, Mud Dragon, instant fusion targets. We all know what these cards do. Thousand Eyes, snatch a card, trigger a musket from instant fusion, and then Mud Dragon. This card's actually really, really good. With Apollosa up, they'll give you a zone. They can't target this, period. With Sleeper, you can change the attribute to light to protect all the muskets, and also both of these are light. So if they don't deal with this, then you can summon a untargetable Utopia Double. So it's really good. And you can just play around cards that target with this card. So why not play it? Lastly, the side deck. I really like this side deck in this event. I would have probably made one change, and that's Lightning Storm if I would have had them. But other than that, this side deck was really good to me. So I was playing hand traps. I didn't want to play hand traps in the main because I was focusing on breaking the board. But, with this deck, people will make you go first sometimes. And when you don't know, you need cards in your hand that aren't dead. So like Evenly Match, Slumber, all those cards are dead. So what you can do is you can side those out, put in hand traps. That way if they make you go first, then these cards are still good. And if they make you go second, then they still do their job. Obviously, Droll is one of the best hand traps in the format. So that's why I was playing Droll. It was really good. Shuts down Spirals turns, Pendulums, can kind of slow Luna, you name it. Also, I wanted to play another hand trap that had a big impact, so I played Nibiru. No, it's not that good against Spiral, but it's good against Salad. I played at least one Salad. Honestly, still a new format, so decks can summon more than 5 times easy. You can side it in against Spiral. I mean, I did a few times because I didn't know if they were going to make me go first. So I wanted to have all live cards in my deck going first and second. So that's why I decided to play this. Going forward, we'll see. We'll see how good this is. I think this is good against Luna as well, so I may continue to play it. Another card that people aren't playing, at least not that I've seen in this deck, is Ties of the Brethren in the side. People will play like Summon Limit, stuff like that, but I don't think that's that good. When this card's not that bad going second as well, so kind of the same theory. You play this, you can side it in when you're not sure if they're going to make you go first or second. And if you have to go first, like ideally you don't want to do that, but if you have to, then this card's insane. This with Caspar is Exodia. It's a Dark Worm Pinkle. But yeah, I think this card's really, really good. Once you stick 3 muskets on the field and resolve a musket effect while doing so, that can be a huge problem for people to get over. It kind of takes the whole summon a monster, attack over your 1 musket, set up their board. It takes that aspect out of it. And I really just want cards that activate, free activations. Like, that's the big thing on this deck. You need cards that you can play to trigger your muskets. So I have nothing but good things to say about this card. Anytime it resolves, you're probably going to win, honestly. Because you're going to, activate it under Caspar, search, activate it under Kid Brave, pitch, draw into more of your side, which you'll see. But yeah, I'll continue playing this forward, and I think any other Musket player should definitely test this out. This is what would have been Lightning Storm, but all I had was Cosmic. I needed more of an answer to back row. Yeah, I'm main decking evenly, and the counter trap, but I needed another answer to back row. Yeah, I did lose to Paleo, ironically. This was the mat and the deck box and the field center I was using, so I did lose the Paleo. I honestly know that matchup better than any other deck, but it's just almost impossible to beat it unless you draw really well and they break. So I was playing 3 of this. A pro versus con of this over Lightning Storm is you can play this, under a musket and trigger the effect, and it also banishes. So Lightning Storm, you can't do that because you can't control any face-up cards. But still, blowing out 5 back row is better than banishing 1, honestly. And I did see this against Paleo, but it wasn't enough. And then, what you want to Kid Brave into once you activate a card going first, if they make you, is the biggest bombs that you can play. So, D-Fissure, obviously not a lot of decks can play under this, and people won't side that much back row removal against you because you're playing Muskets. Macro, same thing as this, except better. And both of these, like I said, both of these trigger a Musket, so why not play that? And reboot just another card to play against back row. It's at 1 now, so I mean, what can you do? But if you resolve it, then you summon Max, you obviously win. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. The deck performed really well. I played a lot of meta, and I broke every board. I broke every board with Slumbers, Evenlies, Kaijus, and then went for Max or Utopia Double and just sealed the game. This deck was really good. I think this deck has a good Luna matchup, so going forward, maybe at a big event or YCS, I may try this. Maybe change a few things. But yeah, I think this deck has a good matchup against the meta as long as you don't sit down against back row, 8, 9 rounds in a row. And just one more thing that's kind of funny. I did play on this mat, this deck box, and I can't tell you how many Spiral players would blind Agent and call Trap against this deck, which they would miss nearly every time because that's my least played card, which is really funny. But yeah, that's just one other way to give yourself an edge when it comes to playing people that you don't know. But yeah, that's all I got to say. I guess a few shout outs. Shout out to Pentasmite Gaming where the regional was. Shout out to 1UP2CG and other locals of mine. Shout out to Vans. Shout out to my friends, Peyton, Gage, Lee J, Trevor, the Barnetts, Josh, all of you guys. Thanks for testing with me. And yep, thanks. That's all I got. Later.